Howdy! Welcome to the Gateway to the Smokies podcast. This podcast is about America's most visited national park, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and surrounding towns. This area is filled with ancient natural beauty, a deep storied history, and rich mountain cultures that we explore with weekly episodes. I am Joseph Franklin McElroy, a man of the world, but also with deep roots in these mountains. My family has lived in the Great Smokies for over 200 years. My business is in travel, but my heart is in culture. Today, we're going to be talking about the Dogwood Crafters Cooperative with Brenda Anders. But first, I got some message from sponsors and some events to talk about. Imagine a place evocative of motor courts of the past, yet modern and vibrant with a chic Appalachian feel. A place for adventure and for relaxation. Imagine a place where you can fish in a mountain heritage trout stream, grill the catch on a fire, and eat accompanied by fine wine and craft beers. Imagine a place with old-time music and world cultural sounds. There is no other place like the Meadowlark Motel in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Your Smoky Mountain adventures start with where you stay. The Smoky Mountains and surrounding areas is a vacation destination for all seasons. Some of the nation's best hiking trails, waterfalls, outdoor adventures, and family entertainment can be found right here. Start your adventure by using smokiesadventure.com, that's Smokies plural, adventure singular.com, to explore all the wonderful features of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Trails, waterfalls, Cades Cove, the Elk, and more. And then check out all the awesome family attractions, entertainment you and your entire family can enjoy. And if you're looking for places to have a wedding or an outdoor life event or a honeymoon or a romantic getaway, check it out. There's places that you can go to do that there as well. The goal of smokiesadventure.com is to become the leading information portal for adventures and experiences in the Great Smoky Mountains. Now, I want to mention some events coming up. In Maggie Valley, you know, we have this great festival grounds. And on May 13th and 14th, we're having the Icons of Hot Rodding Festival. In the 1950s and 1960s, hot rod and custom cars, trucks, and vans for cars and vehicles older than 1969. And then there'll be 50s and 60s music, automotive and vintage vendors, pinstripers, food vendors, judging with awards and trophies presentation. It's a family-friendly event. And I urge you to come on down and check it out. And then May 31st through June 4th, we have Slingshots in the Smokies. It's the 8th annual Slingshots in the Smokies, and it's known as the Super Bowl for slingshot events. For those of you who don't know, slingshots are a sort of a motorcycle on three wheels. And so this will take place at the Maggie Valley Festival Grounds. And again, we'll have all sorts of wonderful things going on. Since we're talking about crafts, I need to talk about July 9th and 10th in Maggie Valley Festival Grounds. You have the annual Maggie Valley Arts and Crafts Show. It's Maggie Valley's largest gathering of artisans and crafters that come together to sell their handmade treasures. Artisans from all over the Southeast will be in attendance. And there'll be chainsaw art demonstrations and lots of festival food. So you can go to MaggieValleyFestivalGrounds.com to find out more about all the festivals coming to Maggie Valley and where you can go and how you can partake of enjoying all these different things. Now, the Meadowlark has announced a big event coming up in August. We're going to have a songwriters camp and concert with Grammy award-winning artists Jim Lauderdale and Charles Humphrey III, along with other award-winning artists like Darren Nicholson of Balsam Range, Clay Mills, and Charles Chamberlain. It's a 2-day event of interactive songwriting instruction with world-class musicians, a demo tape produced for each participant, and concerts by songs from the Road Band on Friday night, and a barbecue dinner and all-star concert on Saturday night. This is a unique event like no other, and space will be limited to ensure individual attention is given to all participants. Price is $675 per person, includes all activities, a demo tape, 2 world-class concerts, and the barbecue dinner on Saturday night. And then there's special room price packages for different kinds of places to stay, to include lodging for Friday and Saturday night. Call 828-926-1717 for details. And there's also a limited amount of concert tickets available for the concerts on Friday, Saturday night. So check it out. Again, reserve your spot, 828-926-1717. Now, you know that I like to introduce sometimes what's coming up in the event with a poem I might write or find. And I found an interesting poem by a guy named Marcus B. Christian, written in 1970. It's called The Craftsman. And it goes like this. I ply with all the cunning of my art this little thing, and with consummate care I fashion it, so that when I depart, those who come after me shall find it fair and beautiful. It must be free of flaws, pointing no laborings of weary hands, and there must be no flouting of the laws of beauty, as the artist understands. Through passion, yearnings, infinite yet dumb, I lift you from the depths of my own mind and gild you with my soul's white heat to plumb the souls of future men. I leave behind this thing that in return the solace gives. He who creates true beauty ever lives. Wonderful poem, a little focused on one gender, but it applies, I think, across the board. So somebody knows a lot about crafts, and we'll introduce today. It's our guest. Her name is Brenda Anders. She's a Maryville, Tennessee native and a true daughter of the Smokies, who's lived in Western North Carolina since 1978. Since then, Brenda has played an integral role in the success of the Dogwood Crafters Cooperative, one of the most storied craft cooperatives in the Southeast, located in historic Dillsboro, North Carolina. Brenda has served in various key leadership positions, including president and chairman of the board, along with heading multiple operational committees within the organization. For more than 4 decades, Brenda's work in leadership with the Dogwood Crafters has created a template for many other artists and crafts cooperatives to follow throughout the country. Hello, Brenda, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. I'm glad to be here and share the story of Dogwood Crafters.
I'm glad you're here, but I want to learn a little bit about yourself first. You grew up in Maryville, Tennessee.
I did. And I went to business college with my husband's cousin, and he came up on a fishing trip to visit his uncle. He likes to say he used the wrong bait and got married instead. And we did get married shortly after. We only had about 6 dates as he went into the Air Force, and then we got married, moved to Texas for 13 years.
Well, yeah, sometimes those last. I mean, I had the opposite experience. I met and married my first wife within 6 weeks, and it didn't last but 3 years. But I learned a lot from it. So sometimes you learn a lot. Sometimes you find your life mate, right?
Right.
So you grew up there. How did you like growing up in the foothills of the Smokies?
Well, to me, I didn't realize at the time how lucky I was.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a natural thing. It's just like right now, when I drive around in the mountains, sometimes I forget to look at them until I have company in the car with me and they start commenting on how pretty it is. And I have to jerk myself up and shake myself and look around a little bit to appreciate what I have.
Now, Maryville was a sort of a suburb of Knoxville, right? Was it more suburb or more rural when you were growing up?
Rural.
Yeah. So you got to do all the good home cooking and all that sort of stuff that we all are familiar with who grew up in the mountains there. Yeah.
Mostly I ironed. My mother did all the cooking, but back in those days we had to iron.
Oh, there you go. Did you have electric irons, or did you have to use those ones you heated over?
Oh, I'm not quite that old.
So when did you leave Maryville?
And I married in 1965.
Okay, and then you left with your husband to go around.
Yeah. He worked for Champion Paper Company for just about a month until his school started. And then he was in school, got a job at the computer center, and then he's been in computer work ever since until he retired.
Well, that's good. So what brought you to Western North Carolina?
He got a job as director of the computer center at Western.
Ah.
And I followed him.
Well, I guess you had to, right?
I had to.
Oh, And did you end up in Dillsboro at that time, or was it?
We live about 4 miles out of Dillsboro in a town called Silva. All the surrounding areas are Silva, and we have little communities like Webster and Dillsboro.
Well, I love both Silva and Dillsboro. They're wonderful little towns. So you got involved with the Dogwood Craft Cooperative. I saw it just a couple years after it was founded. So you're sort of a founder of it, aren't you?
No, I wasn't that lucky. I wish I could have said I was part of the 12 who got that started. But I was a member of the Newcomers Club in Jackson County, and we had a field trip one day, and we went into Dogwood Crafters, and I just fell in love with the art there. And my question was, who does the decorating here? And Rosemary DeJara, who was president of that day or that year, she says, I think you do, because you're the first one that's ever mentioned that word. And up to that point, the crafters had gathered stuff off of the street, old legs, the plastic legs things, and they were draped jewelry over it. The things that you put electrical wire around, the big round things. They drug everything they could to get Dogwood started, and that is a tribute to them. Mm-hmm. But I got there about 3 or 4 years later, and I've been happy there ever since.
Well, you've been successful. You know, I'm an artist myself. I think you're in the speakeasy down there at the Middle. You look around, and a lot of those are my paintings. And you know, I've been involved in a few artists and craft things, and they don't. A lot of them have a moment in the sun, and then they just disappear. So you guys have really done something. It intrigues me that you managed to create something that's lasted this long and so successful. And in fact, you've sort of become a model across a lot of the country for how to run a cooperative. So, you know, I look forward to this conversation to find out more. So you basically started with an ad in the paper?
Yes, a little ad that says, if you have handmade crafts and that you'd like to sell them, will you come to a meeting at the library? And 12 people came, and they set up the rules and the regulations over the next little while that we still go by today. And they started meeting in a house there in Dillsboro that is the chocolate factory now. But they would come set up their little TV trays and tables. They had their own cash box, and they sat and visited. And at the end of the day, they folded everything up and took it home. Pretty soon they realized that if they took turns and helped each other, they could be home making crafts the rest of the time. So that has the word cooperative that we still go by today, because without each and every one of the members of Dogwood, it couldn't operate the way it is. Basically, we have 2 crafters every day working the front counter, a cashier and a bagger. And we have only 1 paid employee. No one was foolish enough to sign up to do the bookkeeping, the record keeping of thousands of items that we have at Dogwood.
Right.
But the word volunteer, and everyone is the same, is the key to the success of Dogwood Crafters.
Cool. Well, we got to take a break now, but I'm eager to come back. We'll talk more about how it works and the insights you've gained and how it's actually propagated in the world.
Okay.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant. And on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you on edge? Hey, we live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and perspectives about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. That's The Edge of Every Day on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Usually, I have a flip phone and usually.
Howdy, this is Joseph Franklin McElroy, back with the Gateway to the Smokies podcast and my guest, Brenda Anders. So Brenda, I know that you joined in 1978. How many original members, you had what, 12 members then? And what do you have, about 90 now? Is there any original members left?
We have one very active original member. Her name was Patricia Cowan, and she and her husband were very active in getting Dogwood started. He was a lawyer, and he helped get our policies and bylaws set up. And for years did leather working, and she paints on glass. So we have one. And another crafter who has recently come back, Don Wood, he was helpful in getting the co-op started, and he is now retired from the university, and he does beekeeping.
Oh wow, you know I'm a beekeeper.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I introduced bees into the South Bronx, and actually got some recognition for that because I helped the local communities do some beekeeping.
Well, how are you going to move those bees when you move to Asheville?
Well, the thing is I would create an hive, I would enjoy it for a while, and then I would train somebody in the community, one of the community gardens, how to take it over, and they take it over. And then I'd create another one. Not now. I anticipate now that I'm coming down there, I'm gonna create some beehives at the Metal Arc and or at my place in Iron Duff. But so, I understand that you guys are not like a flea market, right? You actually, your bylaws required, I think almost originally, right, that all the artists must be juried through an art jury community and then must be of the highest quality. How does that work?
Well, when you voice an interest, you come to Dogwood and you get an application. You fill out the application and bring one or two items that you want to make. A jury committee made up of 3 anonymous crafters. No one wants to know who they are, so they can't blame them if they're not accepted. But they look the craft over, they make sure that it's not something already offered in Dogwood, and you're in. And you can be a 20% crafter. That means we take 20% of your money at the end of the month, and you promise to work 176 hours a year, keeping the shop open, working at the counter. Or you can join as a 40%er. You might be older, you might have a real job, just a lot of different complications that doesn't allow you to work. And we take 40% of that application. So that's how you become a member. And then once you're a member, you're sucked in there to help us work, volunteer on all committees, and get things done.
And why do you, why do you think that originally, why did they decide to make it, instead of just being a sort of craft, flea market and making it into this really sort of excellent source of art?
Well, we wanted to be the best that we could. We have a coordinator now for every room. We have 12 rooms in this log cabin that has used to be Cannon's Cottages, an overnight staying place back in the 30s. We joined with the help of our very helpful landlord, 3 of those log cabins, and then built a big room onto the back. And every room has a different theme, and every room has a coordinator that comes and redecorates the room about every 6 weeks after every major holiday. And we did not want everything lined up like a grocery store, all the mayonnaise on one shelf, all the baskets on one shelf. We decorate according to theme and to color. And that draws, it gives everybody a fair chance to have their crafts highlighted and spotlighted. It's worked, and it works well.
That's great. And is there any restrictions on the materials or what can be displayed there?
Not so far. You have something in mind?
Well, you're sitting there in my room of art. You know what I do.
Well, in the first place, it's too big. You'd have to do something smaller to get into our little shop.
I do little flower paintings. So, I understand you have a Christmas shop, right?
Pardon?
Do you have a Christmas selection?
Yes, we have a room that is called the Christmas room, and we sell more Christmas items throughout the year than we actually do at Christmas, because during Christmas, people are mostly looking for gifts. And what I like about Dogwood is working behind the counter, and the door opens and somebody walks in and they say, "Oh, you're still here." And I said, "Oh, have you been here before?" And he says, "My parents drugged me in here as a child, and now I'm dragging my children in." And he says, "Where is the toy room now?" And I said, "Usually it's the same place." So it's good that children remember and come back to us.
Oh yeah, that's part of the Meadowlark's charm too, is that we had people that had honeymoons in the 60s, and they bring their children back and their grandchildren back, and they've been coming back for their whole lives. It's kind of nice. So I understand that you guys take a great deal of pride in using a lot of recycled products for your art, such as an old door for the handle of a cane or something like that.
We do. Like this pair of mittens is made out of old sweaters, and there's about 5 or 6 different sweaters here, and they're nice and worn. And this is not really a recycled item, but this little Christmas ornament, it's a pine cone that's been run over years and years, and it's real flat, and it's called a roadkill Santa. And we have a man who recycles concrete nails and masonry nails, and he makes this cute little reindeer. We recycle light bulbs, doorknobs, just a lot of things. And this day and time, when people are cleaning out their parents' house, we get a lot of items donated to us, fabric, yarn, and everything. And we share those and then pass them on to other crafters and things. So we have about 17 items, different types of items using recycled material.
Wow. Do you have like a little warehouse of recycled material that artists can come to and find things for them?
We have a very small office, and when the public brings things to us, we put it in there, free items. Somebody might save even a half a bushel basket of light bulbs and bring them in and say, "We don't know why we saved these, but here you are, because we visited the shop and we see that you make things out of light bulbs." So it's a pass along thing. Our customers and the public helps us recycle. We collect liquor bottles from restaurants that
so you say. So you say.
So we say. Well, they're painted with alcohol ink and little bitty lights put in them, and they make real beautiful night lights. So we can make something out of just about everything. Our crafters are very, very smart.
That's cool. And are most of your members from the area? How far spread is your membership?
Since everyone is in charge of their own inventory, and when you join and you're trained to be a Dogwood crafter, you're trained about how the shop is laid out. And when you come the next time, you put your own crafts out, knowing that you can move another crafter's item over a little bit, but you can't just throw it to the side or move it to the next room. So we learned to do that. Now, I've forgotten your question.
The question was, is how big of an area are your members a part of? Are they like, they live just in Dillsboro, or they live a few
Oh, they
miles
have to, yes, I'm sorry. They have to live within 175 miles
Mhm.
of the shop in Dillsboro, because we require them to take an active part. You can't just come and drop your things off, and that's the last we see of you for a year. If you're not able to come and work, we require you to come and do other things like donate money for cookies for our luminaire, or we make sure that you do something just a little bit extra, because you're part of the volunteer organization.
Right. So that means you get people from like Dillsboro, from Cherokee, from Asheville, you get Waynesville,
Yes.
a lot of different places, yeah.
Yes, we do.
And is there good diversity too, as well as Cherokee or African American?
Well, you mentioned Cherokee. We have Joseph Red Cloud, who carves little bitty train whistles and things. We don't have near enough of his things, but you cannot make a crafter craft unless they're in the right mood.
Right.
But local crafters is what we like. Recently, we've had a little lady join, Alva Houston, and this is her hickory nut doll. Do you know what a hickory nut is?
Yeah.
Okay, her face is made from a hickory nut.
Okay.
And it's everything is made from her legs, from a pipe cleaner covered in hose, right up to the little quilt that she's making. And that was a very good find for us. And we have a husband and wife team that makes baskets and canes chairs. This is called the Blue Ridge basket, a very sturdy basket with a wooden bottle and bottom. And she designed that, and she calls it the Blue Ridge basket. And one of our most popular things for people to watch when we're demonstrating is this braided rug. And the children come in and they say, "Oh, look, that lady's making a carpet." We love for the kids to see us ironing, cutting out things, seeing a sewing machine, and seeing things they're not exposed to now. So I thought that was very funny when the man says, "Look, she's making carpet." But we have crafters who make socks, hats. We just have an abundance of different items.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't understand art or crafts, and they just deal with it on the superficial level, which is that's okay too. But you always like to find people that know also the beauty and inherent value of what people create.
I like to be proud of the time I went to my girlfriend's house, and her mother and aunt had a bed full of quilts and pillows. And I said, "What do you do with these?" "Well, we just make them. They ain't nobody's going to want them but us." So I talked them into joining, and those sisters were two of the most popular counter workers that there was in the shop, and they sold the whole bed full of pillows and blankets. And at that time, the government wasn't involved, and we could sell our homemade jams and jellies. Well, Miss Vera Lee would not cuss no matter what. So there was a man standing looking at her jelly, and she said, "This Vera Lee Cope must be one hell of a cook." Well, the expression on her face was something that I'll never forget. It's such pride in seeing that the people who came in and bought something that they created. I'm a firm believer that there is gold in these mountains, and it's up to us to find those people and sell what is so rich, and to pass that along on things that are handmade, because it's very hard to keep people interested in handmade crafts.
Yeah. Well, we have to take a break now. All right. When we come back, we'll talk more about that, and the nature of handmade crafts and further what you guys are doing in Dillsboro.
Hey, I am Joseph Franklin McElroy, host of the new podcast, Gateway to the Smokies. It airs on talkradio.nyc every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 7. Every episode is dedicated to memorable experiences in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and surrounding areas. This show features experts and locals who will expound upon the richness of culture, history, and adventure that awaits you in the Smokies. Tune in every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 on talkradio.nyc.
Are you passionate about the conversation around racism? Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. TLC, host of the Dismantle Racism Show, which airs every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Join me and my amazing guests as we discuss ways to uncover, dismantle, and eradicate racism. That's Thursdays at 11 o'clock a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a small business trying to navigate the COVID-19 related employment laws? Hello, I'm Eric Sauver, employment law, business law attorney, and host of the new radio show, Employment Law Today. On my show, we'll have guests to discuss the common employment law challenges business owners are facing during these trying times. Tune in on Tuesday evenings from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc, now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Howdy, this is Joseph Franklin McElroy back with the Gateway to the Smokies podcast and my guest, Brenda Anders. So Brenda, you mentioned earlier about a 12-room log building. I guess it was formerly cabins at a motel. It was a tourist motel?
Yes, Cannon's Cottage.
Cannon's
And
Cottage.
it belonged to the family who had become our landlord for all these years, Mr. Wade Wilson and his wife, Becky. And like I said, we were first in a little house, one street over, and he loved Dogwood and the concept of having Dillsboro become a craft capital. So he asked us if we'd like to move over there. Pretty soon we expanded and got the next cabin and joined two together. It ended up, we took 3 cabins, and we're still in that today. And
does it still run as a motel? Is the rest of the cabin still run as a motel?
No, we got them all. We have
got them all. Okay, you just got them all up.
And a while back, he met me on the street and he says, I want to sell y'all Dogwood Crafters. And I said, but it's family owned property. How are you going to do that? And he says, I want it done. And so he named his price, $350,000. We went to work having garage sales. We learned how to ask for grants, and we got it down to where we only owed $100,000, and our bank, SunTrust Bank, loaned our little craft cooperative $100,000. And within 7 years, we had our building paid for.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. And you guys take care of everything. The volunteers do everything. Building, flower boxes, maintenance is really sort of special, right?
That is true.
Yeah.
That's why I say I've been everything from the groundskeeper right on up, because we do have grounds that we have to keep. And like you said, the flower boxes, someone orders all of our supplies. Another lady is in charge of all of our classes, and we offer free classes to anyone who would like to come. They only have to pay for the supplies that they use during that. We have a scholarship committee. We give a lot of money to John Campbell, Haywood Tech, Southwestern, to students wanting to learn the Appalachian craft. And so we have different projects in order to earn money for that craft. And of course, we love to advertise, and we have one project that we do every year for a special expensive advertising. And that is we sell quilt tickets for a raffle quilt. And our crafter, one of our oldest crafters, Larry Walther, who lives in Waynesville, has made those quilts for the last 5 or 6 years. We used to come together as a group and make that, but he says, I don't understand it, but he says the women talk too much. And if I would send them home, he'd make the damn quilts himself. Excuse me. So that's what he's done. And we sell raffle tickets all year long so he can, so we can have a special advertising. We come up with different ideas such as that to make money, but mainly the shop is run by our percentages from our crafters, and we also sell jams and jellies.
Does that most of the money comes from that? Is it most of the money comes from the
yes
from the sales?
As a nonprofit, we're not supposed to have a whole lot of money, so we don't. But we needed more, so we needed those. The money came from jam and jellies. So we have a crafter, Joan Marsden, who has volunteered, and she orders our jams and jellies. We looked all over the country and we found a little shop in Tiger, Georgia, still makes their jellies in little four-gallon pots. So it's as close to homemade as we can get. And when the men walk in the door, they just go straight to across the hall to our pantry and start buying the jelly and the barbecue sauces and things like that. Without the money that we earn from our jams and jellies, it would be hard for us to meet our quota of expenses.
Now I hear that you sell cookbooks and that you have a big hand in writing those. Is that true?
Here's the cookbook, one of my favorites, simply because of the color. We've had 5 cookbooks, and I think we have 4 now that is in print. I did not write them at all, but I do have recipes in them. Our customers have recipes, and our different crafters have recipes. And cookbook sales are, we've sold thousands of cookbooks. And because of our cookbooks, well, it's a whole story. I could talk for another hour on how we got to this, but we were on Carolina Kitchen on WLOS TV. Every day they have a 5-minute segment of recipes and cooking. So I was privileged to go over there, and I did that way back in the, I've done it for about 20 years. Of course, the COVID put a stop to that for right now, but I'm trying to figure out a way how I can, I don't want them to come and film at my house, right, but that would require housekeeping details.
Well, now you're an expert in Zoom. Just do it.
Oh, I'm at your friend's place doing this Zoom. I still own a flip phone.
Okay, yeah. Well, you did the Zoom on a flip phone?
No. I have a flip phone. I could not Zoom on that.
My father's still on a flip phone too, so yeah. You know, it's funny that they're now making smartphones to look like and act and flip like a flip phone. Yeah, the Gen Z loves the concept of the flip phone, not knowing that that we had that 30 years ago.
I know.
Right? Yeah. So, but so you guys do that's really nice to do all this promotion with the cooking. It's really, you know, we're wanting to do some interesting mountain cooking recipes for our new restaurant coming to Meadowlark. So I definitely want to see your cookbook, see if we can find some things that might be interesting for that.
Well, all of our crafters are good cooks, and we have many recipes in our 5 cookbooks that come from our mothers and grandmothers. So we'll help you out on that.
So tell me, you know, I just moved to Asheville, so I know you have involvement in the Mountain State Fair that's in Asheville. It's a pretty nice event.
Yes, Dogwood has gone to the North Carolina Mountain State Fair since it began. I'm not good at naming dates, but about 27 years. And we started out, we had a booth on the dirt there in the arena. And now we have a wonderful new building built by the North Carolina folks that they regulate us from Raleigh. And about 4 or 5 years ago, Dogwood was asked to take over the historic heritage crafters there, which it was a real privilege to us. And we are in constant search of heritage crafters. And we have so much fun working 13 days, 10 days, 13 hours a day, selling and meeting the folks and introducing them to traditional mountain crafts.
And when is that usually held?
It starts the Thursday after Labor Day and for the next 10 days. I expect you'll be coming there.
I will be coming there. I'll be living right there, so I reckon I will. And I got, believe it or not, I'm on my second rodeo, and I got 3.5-year-old twins. So I'll be bringing them to show them all sorts of mountain culture. I think they'll get a kick out of that. I look forward to it.
They'll love it. They have live birthings of the cows, and the calves, and pig races, but don't forget to bring them to the Virginia Boone Building and see the crafters.
All right. So you mentioned, going back to your, I love cabins, right? So I wanted to ask about that. You said you had themed rooms, and we're thinking about doing themed rooms. What are the themes of your rooms?
Well, as you enter the room, it's the main room, and we like near Easter, we have that decorated for Easter. Mother's Day, Father's Day. And as you enter, then go to the right, we have the lodge. A lot of people who come and visit us want to decorate their lodge. So we have that. Then on around the fireplace, we have our Christmas room. And then into the next room, it's our children's and toy room. We have our pantry with jams and jellies. We have a room that has handmade soap, pillows, and some jewelry items and things. Then we have the traditional lodge room, which has the baskets, braided rugs, and things like that. Then we have the boutique, handmade hats and gloves and dresses and aprons. And then we have a kitchen, which has kitchen items, handmade kitchen items. And then you're not going to find stainless steel spoons or anything. Everything in our shop is handmade. Then the big room that we built onto the cabins out to the back, it's called the gallery. And we call it that because it has lots of walls that we can hang photographs and original paintings and prints and things like that. But we did have to put tables and shelves in there because we have to have room for crafts.
That's fabulous. Well, we got to take one last break here, and then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about other things going on, and then how people can find out about you. All right.
Okay.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be frank about health to advocate for all of us.
Calling all pet lovers.
Pet Avengers, assemble!
On the Professionals and Animal Lovers show, we believe the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. It mirrors that bond between pets and their owners. Through this program, we come together to learn, educate, and advocate.
Join us live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. at talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Howdy, this is Joseph Franklin McElroy back with the podcast Gateway to the Smokies. My guest, Brenda Anders. So Brenda, I read that you had added a new feature to the co-op, and that's the Mary's Garden. What is that? How did it come about?
Mary Nolan was a member of Dogwood for many, many years. And when she passed away, we wanted to pay tribute to her in a special way. So we had our side yard bricked, and we have a plaque with her photograph on it and everything. And it's just called Mary's Garden. And we're a firm believer at Dogwood that if you make the men comfortable sitting out on a patio with a good, comfortable bench, they'll leave you alone while you're in the shop buying things. So Mary's Garden has, it keeps Mary with us. She was very important to us as Dogwood. Every member, when you become a member of Dogwood, you become a member of Dogwood, your family. When you're sick, we help you. When you have a death in the family, we help you. And you are as important. There's people like me who have a very good mouth and can talk about Dogwood and things, but each and every member of Dogwood makes it a volunteer cooperative shop.
So, and you know, you have it's obviously a real dedication to your members, but I also feel like they've lasted this long, you have a real dedication to your customers. How do you support them?
We support them by continuing to have good quality crafts. We try, each of our crafters comes up with new ideas. And our longtime customers notice this when they come in. They say, oh, well, this is new. And every item has a tag on it. And that crafter's name is on the tag. So they know that Janetta has a new chair, or that Judy Horn has some new gourds, or they identify by a name, not just a number on the tag. So we try to support them by having new things and staying open. It's really hard to stay open as a business now, and it's a privilege to say that we have made this happen for as many years as we have. When we first started, well, not when we first started, but about 20 years into it, Handmade in America became very popular. And they asked us to help other craft cooperatives get started. So Mary and I would take these trips to different towns all around, and we would talk to them about how we got started and what we did. And one of our members, Susie Ray, wrote a book, Dogwood Crafters, Our First 25 Years. And in that book, it tells exactly how we got started, our recommendations of how a craft cooperative works. And you can take that book and you can find a good location in your own town, and you can have your own Dogwood Crafters Cooperative.
That's fabulous. That is fabulous. And you're not only in your own town, but you go around the festivals as well, don't you? And you have some big holiday events. What can you tell me about those?
Dillsboro has three main festivals. We have Front Street in July, Color Fest in October, and our Luminaire, which is the first 2 full weekends in December. And that is where the streets are all lit by candles and white bags, thousands and thousands of that. And the shops offer refreshments. And when we can get the horses to work, there's horse-drawn buggy rides and everything. And while the train comes to Dillsboro, we like to have demonstrations. So the spring fling and fall fling has started, and that's just on certain Saturdays. I can't remember the dates right now, but we have crafters in the front of each shop. We don't cross the streets off for those things, but again, we're trying to let people see that, hey, things are handmade. And we have several good shops in town that, of course, they don't all carry handmade things, but they're good quality shops, and our restaurants can't be beat in Dillsboro.
Cute town. Dillsboro is a real cute town. I mean, they got some nice restaurants there. I can't.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't speak more than highly of it. Yeah, and you have a brewery there now too, Innovation Innovation, right? Brewery.
Yes, uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's good. It's a good town just to visit, and then people should visit and then go to the co-op and buy some crafts. It'd be a great day trip.
And a fun thing that we
It's a
have,
railroad.
a fun thing that we have is the Easter hat parade. And that got started 37 years ago when several of the shops decided, well, we'll just have our own parade. And so they put on funny hats and they marched around town.
Oh, that's
now we continue to have that, and hundreds of people come. Our state magazine came and interviewed and stayed all day and took pictures. And it's a free event for families. And it's always the Saturday before Easter. This year we had a goat come. And last year, oh, and we have a cat that's been coming for 5 years. Her name is Bonus, and she walks around on a leash. Last year we had a chicken come. So it's always fun to see who shows up and what shows up. But it's a good, Dillsboro is a walkabout town. It's 2 long blocks, front and back street, that where you can park your car and go in and out all these shops and stop to eat and have a really good day away from the maddening crowds.
So what's the future for the co-op? What's your vision?
My vision is that we can continue to recruit crafters to carry on Dogwood Crafters as it has been for the last, since '76, and keep it there for generations to come. It's hard work getting younger people to want to make a craft. That's why we have to demonstrate and show that you can make carpet and you can make your own socks and crochet your own hat and doilies. I love doilies. They can hide a lot of dust, but I dare say that a lot of people don't know what a doily is. And we just want to keep that alive. Yeah. And if we can do that, then Dogwood will be there for another 25 or 75 years. I won't be, many of our crafters won't be, but Dogwood will be there.
Passing on the next generation, that's important. So how do people find out more about you?
Well, Facebook, or Dogwood Crafters is on Facebook. We have a website, dogwoodcrafters.com. And we still are old fashioned and have brochures in some of the welcome centers and things like that. But I think people can just Google us and find us in Dillsboro.
Cool. Well, I invite you to bring your quilt raffle tickets over to the Metal Arc. We'll try and sell some for you.
Okay. We're very lucky where we're located. We're on Highway 441 at the red light there. We're 3 hours from Charlotte, 3 hours from Atlanta, 3 hours from major hubs, 1 hour from Asheville. So if you're going to go to Cherokee, stop 14 miles before you get to Cherokee and you'll find Dogwood Crafters.
And of course, you're pretty close to Maggie Valley. So, a half-hour drive from Maggie Valley. And I hope you guys come to our arts and crafts show.
I certainly will.
All right, good. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot, and it's nice to know about you. It stimulates things in my brain. I'm involved in the arts and crafts. So I'll definitely come and check you out and see what's going on. Thank you again. This is the Gateway to the Smokies podcast. You can find out more about us at talkradio.nyc, which is a network of live podcasts that happen every day during every day of the week, where you'll find out information that's interesting. They talk about small business, they talk about self-help, they talk about cats and dogs and animals, they talk about all sorts of different things.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to have you here and have you listen to the show. So I encourage you to go see and listen to other podcasts on the network. And then this specific show has a Facebook page called facebook.com/Gateway to the Smokies podcast, where you can find a lot of the live podcasts and everything else. We're also on SmokiesAdventure.com. There's a link that shows all the previous podcasts and transcripts, as well as information that's useful, might be useful to you, as well as events and other things going on. And I have another podcast on this network that's called Wise Content Creates Wealth, which is about using AI and behavioral science to help market your business. So if you get a chance, look for that podcast on Fridays from noon to 1. And this podcast is on Tuesdays from 6 to 7 every week. And it's been a pleasure letting you into our world here, and hopefully you'll come visit us. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.